Private Lender Podcast, Episode 34.
The Private Lender Podcast quote of the day comes to us from Philip Fisher, who said, "The stock market is filled with individuals who know the price of everything, but the value of nothing."
This is the Private Lender Podcast, the show that shares practical advice and know-how for new and seasoned lenders, from private mortgages on single-family houses to joint ventures on commercial projects and beyond. Discover details about investment vehicles that you won't find at your local bank or online broker. Listen and learn from private lenders and real estate investors, as well as from professionals and entrepreneurs, as they share the details, strategies, and the insight that allows for successful and prosperous lending. Now, get ready to increase your ROI. Here's your host, Keith Baker.
What's going on, Lender Nation? Welcome to the Private Lender Podcast, the only show on the internet dedicated to teaching private lenders how to mitigate risk and increase their yields. My name is Keith Baker, and you're listening to episode number 34. Today's topic is both for lenders and for borrowers. So first off, it's to the borrower. It's for the borrower, and its subtitle is How to Treat a Lender. And the second part is a guide for lenders not to feel bad about foreclosing on somebody or taking care of their investment. You see, private lending should be the most passive investment there is, but sometimes it's not. It becomes active. And as a borrower, that's the worst thing you can do. It gets under my skin more than anything else if I have to go to work after I've done my due diligence, done my research, agreed to make the loan, and provided the loan, gotten my lien, received the lien, so on and so forth, closed on the transaction. Outside of that, once a month, I want to make sure that payment's been there and it's been received, it's in the ledger, move on. That's all the work I want to do after I agree to do the loan and close. And this may seem very basic, elementary, and really far below a common sense intellect. But you would be surprised with some of the behavior I've seen out there. And I'm talking about people that I know and like. Communication is such a crucial component of successful investing and successful relationships, which really is what underpins successful real estate investing. So I hope today that I'm able to shed a little bit of light into what maybe you need to look for, what you should look for, and hopefully to give you some confidence to step up and take action when things go wrong. Because no investor is perfect. Even the best ones make mistakes from time to time. And there's no perfect investment vehicle. Yeah, if you want to go unless you consider less than 1% that's fully secured by the FDIC is perfect, then from that perspective, then there is a perfect investment. But you're losing money. You're not even making matching inflation. So with a little bit of work, a little bit of effort, and what seemingly seems like more risk, you can actually mitigate that risk through your due diligence, and you can come out on the other side successful. So now that I've given you a glimpse of what's ahead, I need to ask you, Lender Nation, for a favor. Or even if you're not a member of Lender Nation, if you just happen to fall upon this episode, I still am going to ask you for a favor. And that favor is this. This podcast is free, but it costs me time and money to put it together and to put it out there. And that's not a gripe. I know what I got into. And it's something that I actually enjoy, believe it or not. I guess that means I'm ill somehow, some way between the ears. But I think it's a fair price to pay if you could just leave me a rating and review on iTunes or Google Podcast. Now, obviously, I would love to have 5 stars, but I'm not going to ask you for that. All I'm going to ask is that you give me an honest review. If you could take the time, take a few moments out of your day, go to iTunes, go to Google Podcasts, because those are the 2 big ones. I know Stitcher, SoundCloud. I appreciate those reviews as well, and the information and the feedback that the listeners have given me. But those 2, iTunes and Google Podcast, are the big gorillas in the room. Those are, iTunes is the biggest. That's the 400-pound gorilla in the room, and Google Podcast is while it's an infant right now, it will be the 800-pound gorilla in the room, maybe the 1,200-pound gorilla, because of the number of androids that are out there. So again, all I ask, leave me an honest review. If you think I deserve a low mark, then please, by all means, let me know. I'd prefer you do it over social media, Private Lender Podcast, on Instagram and Twitter, and then Keith Baker at Facebook, and the Private Lender Podcast Facebook page as well. But for every review that you, Mr. and Ms. Listener, give me, it helps spread the word about this podcast and gets it in front of more people, gets it out there into more ears of people who are just like you and me. Those of us who are working the daily grind, driving that daily commute and trying to, biting our tongue and our lip not to yell at that, you know what I'm talking about, that one person, that one, you know who I'm talking about. It's that silver Camry that gets in front of you after driving like a jerk. That's the guy. Anyway, but just like us, we're trying to raise kids to be decent human beings, trying to raise a family, trying to save for college, because even though in my heart, I don't think that's the answer anymore, but that's kind of the path that I've laid out for my kids, at least for now. Maybe not so much for what they do in life as far as a career, but I think college is a great way to learn people and different ideas. So from that aspect, I still think it has value. But if we can band together, and what I like to get the word out there, spread the word, build this lender nation, and make it a world where real estate investors don't even need banks anymore. It's no one has to worry about how many mortgages can I have on my personal credit before Freddie and Fannie say no more, or Wells Fargo or Bank of America. If we just take them out of the equation and put the power into the hands, into the 401ks, into the IRAs, into the cash accounts of everyday people just like you and me, then I think that is a win-win-win all around. So before we get into the heart of today's episode, let's go ahead and thank our sponsor. 713 RIA invites you to come out and experience one of the fastest growing RIA groups in the greater Houston area. The goal of 713 RIA is to provide quality information to every level of investor. The organizers Landon Rothstein and Ray Sasser have found that no matter where you are in the investing process, those investors who effectively network are far more successful than those who don't. And 713 RIA is geared to help you both get the information you need and provide the networking that will propel your investing. For more information, please visit 713RIA.com. That's 713REIA.com. I'd like to thank Landon and Ray at 713 RIA for their continued sponsorship of the great experiment that I call the Private Lender Podcast. It does mean a lot to me. And I don't know if you can hear that or not, but the cicadas are out in effect. It is, late July, early August here in Houston. Temperatures in the triple digits, humidity somewhere around the 80-90%. Not a whole lot of rain right now. This is what we call the garden months. This is when you want to visit Houston area, especially if you live at the North Pole and you love the sun. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's get to today's episode about how to treat a private lender. And that can be easily turned around in how to be treated as the lender. And there's just a couple of bullet points I want to talk about, but I think it drives home or encapsulate everything that I feel that someone who wants to be a private lender should know. And if someone who is private lending ought to be, this should be rote in their method of operation. But the number one thing a borrower can do for the lender, the private lender, is to remove as much friction as possible. I'm a lender because I don't want to deal with tenants. I don't want to deal with contractors. I like one person that I can yell at, so to speak. That's it. So while no investment is truly passive, private lending, private mortgage investing, note buying, note creating can be one of the most passive forms of investment there is. And as you, the borrower, come to me and want to borrow my money that's in my IRA, and you make me work, I'm not going to be too happy about that. Now let me unbox that a little bit. when a borrower comes to me and says, I want to do this, I need X amount of money, these are the terms I'm looking for, this is how long I need it, there's work, okay? You, as the lender, I got to put my time in, and that's fine. I analyze the deal, I look at everything, I research the property, I do my due diligence. That's my work. Then I order my documents from the attorney based on what the borrower has provided me. And we close. And there's a transaction, and I go and look at my emails and make sure that there's confirmation all around. After that, and that can be a lot of work. It can be very little work. I've seen that take very little work. Due diligence be very little. I've seen due diligence take more time than what I thought it was worth. And that told me maybe I shouldn't be investing in this deal. But after that, after closing, the only work that I expect is to go on and make once a month to make sure the payments are there. Is to check my email or my text messages once a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever interval that the borrower and I have discussed and agreed upon to get updates. That's it. So if I have to do anything beyond closing, after closing, that's more than checking my bank accounts or checking updates from the borrower, that's going to sour my mood. If I have to go behind an investor and check up on them to make sure they're doing something, to make sure that property is getting rehabbed, to make sure whatever the case may be, I'm not going to be too happy about that. So the odds are I'm not going to loan to you again. Like right away. I've done it. Within the first couple of weeks of a loan, I've decided I will never loan to this person again. And these are good, decent people. They mean well. But my mom always said the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So the old adage, trust but verify, I don't even know if you should trust. Always verify. Period. Period. But as a borrower, remove the friction. That's the best piece of advice I can give somebody who wants to use private money, is to remove the friction for the lender. The second thing I'd like to discuss is simple. It's 3 simple words. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that, but I've got to go swap out the laundry. I'll be right back. Okay, 3 simple words. Just 3 simple words I want you to keep in mind. And keep is the first word. Keep your word. Do everything you tell the lender you're going to do. If you're going to do something within 2 weeks, make sure you have it done. If you are going to take 2 months to renovate a house, to rehab it, make sure it's done at the end of those 2 months. Do everything in your way short of cutting your own wrist to get it done. Stand up, be somebody of integrity, and get it done, whatever it takes. Do what the documents that you sign, do what those documents say you're going to do. Because if you don't, I'm going to do what those documents allow me to do, and that's take the house back. And I'm not going to think twice about doing it, because this is the game we get in. And excuses are like buttholes. Everybody's got one, and they all stink. And that's how it's so true. Uh-oh. Messing up on the laundry today. It's been a rough weekend. We had a soccer tournament this weekend. So anyway, good times. But nonetheless, keep your word. Do what you say you're going to do. Your word is your bond. I grew up where you give somebody a firm handshake, you look them in the eye, you tell them something, you make damn good and sure you do what you told them. And maybe that should be number 1. But on my notes here, it's number 2. But it's very important. Just do what you're supposed to do. And don't get upset when your best laid plans go to hell and that lender's got to take back the property to protect his or her investment. So just keep your word. The next thing I would insist on, these are, like Brant Phillips said, non-negotiables. Keep your private lender informed. Let them know. Every Friday or Saturday, shoot them an email. Provide some photos. Okay? And this is if everything's going smooth and everything's going good, right? Keep them up to date. But remove the friction. So give it to them. It's not going to take you much time to get a couple of photos together. Here's the kitchen. Here's the bath. Hey, the foundation's done. We're doing the roof now. Or repiping. Whatever. Just let your private lender know that you're doing what you said you're going to do. Keep them in the loop. Keep open lines of communication. don't or do everything in your power not to have the lender do what the documents allow them to do. And that's take the property back from you. So if you get in a bind, oh my God, please let me know. Let your lender know. I might be a hard ass, but I'm not unreasonable. And I know contractors are flaky. I used to be one. And believe me, I know. But as long as I'm kept in the loop, if the closing's going to be a week later, whatever, that's fine. I might not like it, but as long as you keep me in the loop, you keep me updated, you keep me informed, there's not a whole lot of yelling I'm going to do, because you're doing what I ask, you're keeping your word, and you're removing as much friction from my life as possible. And that's going to go a long way for me. And if, God forbid, you do screw up, and people screw up, I get it. I do it all the time. Nobody's perfect. We are human. It's part of our condition. But if you do screw up, be accountable. Stand up. Make that uncomfortable phone call. Do the right thing. Let your lender know. Give me full disclosure. Did the property burn down? Well, as long as there's insurance there, my position's protected. It's going to take my investment horizon has been extended, and I don't like that, but I understand things happen. And hey, I'm doing a podcast here. Come here. Hold on, no. Oh, I'm sorry, Lender Nation. My oldest daughter's decided to make noise here, and I'm gonna.
Sorry.
Okay, there you go. Oh, thank you, sweetie. So can you? I don't want to edit this out, but I probably should. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay, go. I'll be done in a minute.
I'm getting cheese.
You hear that, Lender Nation? My daughter's getting cheese. Just don't cut it, okay? Just don't cut it. Okay. That was a really lame joke. Okay, sorry. Anyway, I'm a little crunched for time, so I'm not even going to edit that out, so I apologize to everybody about that. And she's still making noise back there. But if you screw up, just be upfront, be accountable, be a person of integrity. Lay out all the cards on the table to your lender and say, listen, mea culpa, this is where I messed up. But here's the other thing. Don't just sit there and cry about it. Have a plan. Discuss that plan with your lender. How are you going to get out of this bind? Did you get into a house that nobody knew? You had passed an inspection, and yet you had, let's say, you had bad luck. You had a crappy inspector, or let's say the house was, is eaten up with termites, or is built over a landfill that nobody knew about, or whatever. Crazy things can happen. And while I don't want to say that's okay, but you have to be understanding at the same time. But in order for me to be understanding, I need that borrower to be a person of integrity and to come to me and tell me. And that's really about it, guys. I mean, those 4 things, those points of removing friction, keeping your word, keeping me informed, and being honest and open. Those things go a hell of a lot further than paying on time, which is still important, don't get me wrong. But paying on time, doing it, this is all part of it. This is what builds the relationships. This is what gets people to the point where, I'm going to loan not on your project. And I've done this before. I don't recommend it for newbies, but those who have been lending for a while know that after a while you stop lending on projects and you just lend on people, because they're going to take care of business. And if they get in a bind, they're going to take care of you. They're going to cut their own throat. They're going to bleed a little, but they're going to make you whole because they want to use your money again. And that's what a good borrower does. And at the same time, a good lender is there to help their borrower out in times of need. This is a team sport. Real estate investing, private lending, private mortgage lending, and life in general is a team sport. So anyway, there goes my little rant for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it shed a little bit of light on what you should expect and how you should treat your lenders. And in the coming weeks, I'll be bringing on guests, hopefully, if I can get my schedules ironed down for recording a little better. But I'm going to bring on different folks from the lenders team and start drilling down point by point by point on each section of the team and why they're important and what they can do. And speaking of a team member, as of this airing, you have less than a week to buy your ticket for the Quest Self-Directed IRA Expo. The first of its kind is going to be held in Dallas, Texas on August 25th and 26th, 2018. I will be in attendance. I'm also a sponsor, and I'll be speaking on a panel. So come on out and say hello to me. Sign up to win. I'm giving away a ton of free prizes. I'm giving away real money, free money, not much, but I'm going to be giving away some money. I'm going to be giving out free one-on-one loan consultations. So if you are a newbie or there's a project you would like another set of eyes on, then I'm giving away 30-minute consultations over the web where you'll send me all the documents. When you win, I'll send you a list of what I'll need for you to submit so I can look over a few things. And then I'll get on the internet with you, and we're going to go through everything. And we're going to look at it, and I'm going to give you my opinion on whether I think it's a green light, a red light, or a yellow light, or should you do this or should you not. I'll also be giving away free education products. I've been postponed, but the Private Lender Academy will be kicking off hopefully by the end of the year. And while I'm at the Quest Expo, I'm going to be giving away opportunities for free education packages, free memberships to the Private Lender Academy. And the best part about it is it's in Dallas, Texas. Go Cowboys. But it's in Texas in August. And I can't tell you how excited I am to even get 4 hours, 240 miles north in latitude. Even if it's just 1 degree, I'm going to be looking forward to it. And it's the home of the Cowboys, so even though we haven't won anything in like 20, 30 decades, I'm okay with that. But come on out and see me. It's going to be a lot of fun. Please keep listening. I'm going to try to get more active on social media if time allows. But I do have a day job that is priority. It helps keep the lights on in the house and the wife happy. So I will do as much as I can when I can. So with that, I want to thank you for listening to episode 34. We're coming up on 52 sooner than we realize it, a whole year of this podcast. I want to thank you for listening, and I want to wish you happy and prosperous lending and investing. And we'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Private Lender Podcast with your host, Keith Baker. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit privatelenderpodcast.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please rate and review, and we'll catch you next time.
And the only thing else I got to say is,